This is Monkey World in Dorset, the largest ape and monkey rescue centre on the planet. Today on Monkey Life, baby Bart gets all grown up and goes it alone. The fearless bachelor boys get frightened by a tree. And the Chilean Capuchins experience the outside world for the first time in their lives.
They've just taken everything in their stride. They've been amazing, and they sit in the sun and they eat the grass, they forage through the grass as if this is what they've done all their life. All their natural behaviours are so strong still, and it's like, yeah, we can do that, we can do this, bring it on.
It's a wet start to the day at Monkey World. Last night there was a big storm. And this morning, while the apes brave the rain, the primate care staff and maintenance team are dealing with the aftermath. But they have a plan.
We're always looking for new things to put in the chimp enclosures, just to try and make things a bit different for them. And luckily, a big oak tree come down, so we're actually going to take that this morning and put it in their enclosure. That actually gives them a lot of new things to do. Not only does it change up so everything's already in there, so it gives them different handholds to move around on, but they can also eat the browse on it, and you do their usual chimp thing of probably just smashing it up. So hopefully they'll have a lot of fun with it.
It's the bachelor chimps who are getting this treat today. They're used to playing with branches and logs, but this is 20 feet worth of oak tree. It calls for a forklift truck and brute force to put into place. But chimps are 6 times stronger than a man, and some of the bachelor chimps are the biggest in the park. So the team need to make sure the chimps can't use the tree as an escape route out of their enclosure.
The aim is to make it completely secure, just so they can't move it around too much. We don't want to drag it against the fence, either to short out the electric wires or to give them a platform to climb up over the overhang. So we want to make sure everything's nice and tight and safe before we give them any access to it.
The position of this new toy must be chimp-proof, and more importantly, bachelor chimp-proof. Later, the bachelor chimps might look large and powerful, but they seem scared and confused by the new toy that's appeared in their home. And chimp youngsters Ben and Pip rely on a new friend to help them brave the outside world.
Arthur was really a positive influence today. He was very encouraging towards Ben and Pip. He kept popping back to the playroom and checking on them and trying to encourage them outside.
This morning, it's also a busy start for the 94 Capuchin monkeys. At the moment, all the girls live together on one side of the park and the boys on the other. And just when they all seem settled with their living arrangements, it's all change. The girls are swapping homes with the boys.
There we go. 57 females down here, 11 to go, and then on to the boys.
Most of the Capuchins were rescued from a life of solitary confinement in a laboratory. But here at the park, they've been integrated into 2 groups. At first, it was thought that the boys would find it harder to settle into group life, so they were given the bigger house. But it's actually the girls who've been more troublesome.
Is that we've had a couple of incidents up in the lodge, and there's 68 female Capuchins, you know, and it's a big group, and it was decided, you know, we would like to give the females a lot more space. So we've got a bit of a conveyor belt going today. We've got 3 teams getting them from A to B for us.
The team want to ensure the Capuchins spend the rest of their lives being as happy as possible. And although this move is a mighty task for the park, it'll be worth it for the Capuchins.
The final one.
And that's it then.
Everybody's in, everyone's safe.
94 Capuchins moved in one day.
Went very well, very smoothly.
What a day.
Not bad teamwork all round. I think we're going to be feeling it for a bit, but he's the final lad. There you go, mate.
But the male-female swap is not quite as simple as it seems. One of the park's original Capuchin boys, TJ, is currently homeless.
Ready when you are, yeah.
A few days ago, he was introduced to all the other male Capuchins, but it didn't go well. The team were worried he was going to start a fight, so he had to be removed.
He's used to being like #1 in his group, very spoilt young male. So to suddenly have like 27 other males to deal with, he wasn't really coping and he was just lashing out.
The team has made the radical decision to let TJ live with the 68 girls. He'll be the only boy in the group, and while this may sound appealing to some, he'll most definitely have his work cut out.
The girls do a lot of politics, and they could like use him and abuse him. So it is actually, he's got quite a hard job, I think, controlling those females and not causing any trouble, not having too many biases, because that will only upset his other girls. Yeah, he's going to have to use his brain cells to be able to cope with all those girls.
Back with the Bachelor Chimps, Jimmy is the first to spy the new addition to their enclosure. His hooting alerts the other boys. There's a strange tree in their midst. And for once, the other chimps seem strangely quiet and confused. They might look big and tough, but these boys are complete scaredy cats whenever something new appears in their home. And after all, the tree's very big. Jimmy's hoping it might just go away. But Butch is the alpha male. This is his domain, so he tries to show the tree who's boss. Unfortunately for Butch, it might just be the tree who's boss. And there's something else that's bothering the boys. The oak is lying exactly where their breakfast is usually scattered. There's definitely something weird going on. A big tree and no breakfast. The boys are going to have to think very hard about this. Unfortunately, thinking isn't one of the things the Bachelor boys do best. In the wild, when fruit is scarce, the chimps also strip the leaves and bark off trees as another good food source. And back at the park, because they can't yet find their usual breakfast, the boys have finally toughened up and decided to get stuck into the tree. And now they're eating, they should be happy. But no, it's raining, and they're all getting wet. But if it's a choice between eating or keeping dry, the Bachelor boys will always choose eating. And when at last they twig that they can use the tree to keep themselves dry while they eat, they finally find that mysterious, hidden breakfast. Over at Hananya's house, it's been a few weeks since youngsters Ben and Pip moved in from the chimp nursery. They've been introduced to quite a few of their new family, and now it's time for their next step, the big outdoors. Ben and Pip are both really nervous, so they won't be going out alone. A few friends will join them, and one in particular should make them feel much more relaxed.
We've picked Arthur because we wanted a boy out there, and actually he's got quite a good relationship with Ben. They've been playing a lot, and so hopefully that will give Ben the confidence. And then Valerie and Marjolaine really have been good animals since day one. They were introduced very early on. They've been in and out of the introduction group, and they're very confident animals, they're very playful animals, so hopefully again they'll encourage Ben and Pip to come outside and to have the confidence to come outside.
Ben and Pip were born at the park and were hand-reared by the Primate care staff. And since they were toddlers, they've never been confident when it comes to the outdoors. In fact, they didn't venture out in the nursery until they were 5 years old. And today, it seems history is going to repeat itself. The 6-year-olds are feeling far from brave. This outside space is much bigger than they're used to. And even Arthur, sitting by the door trying to coax them out, isn't working. But if Ben and Pip's best friend has anything to do with it, he'll make sure that the pair come out to play soon.
were so pleased with Arthur, really, because he was very encouraging towards Ben and Pip. He kept popping back to the playroom and checking on them and trying to encourage them outside. Arthur was really a positive influence today, and hopefully he will stay in that introduction group now and continue to encourage Ben and Pip until they feel they're ready to come outside.
At Monkey World, in Paddy's group, it's lunchtime. On the menu today are tasty chopped up vegetables scattered throughout the enclosure. This allows the troop of 20 to forage in the same way as they would in the wild. And it's a great learning experience for the baby of the group, Bart. Mum Susie is teaching him what to eat and where to find it. At 16 months old, he's still clinging to her chest at all times. But this afternoon, for the very first time outside, he's keen to strike out on his own and let go of his mum. And with toddler-like curiosity, Bart's quick to copy his mum and starts to enjoy eating al fresco. In the wild, chimp infants learn all they need to know about adult life by watching and copying those around them. But it may be some time before Bart can match his dad's huge appetite. Paddy, as alpha male, takes advantage of his position and has grabbed as much as he can. So, before Bart's eyes get bigger than his belly, Susie steps in. And, like all good mums, she knows when he's eaten enough for one day. Back with the female Capuchins, they're settling in well after swapping homes with the boys this morning. And the staff are confident they're ready for their next challenge. Since the Capuchins arrived, the park's maintenance team have been busy preparing their outside enclosures. For some of the Capuchins, it'll be the first time they've ever stepped foot outside, and for others, the largest space they will have ever seen. Now complete, it's time for the girls to go outside. But nobody quite knows how they will react when the slide is opened. A quick scan of the enormous area, and one of the girls makes her move. A few brave steps in the outside world is enough for now, and she heads back in to tell the others. And it's not long before they're all checking out their new surroundings. Some of these Capuchins had been kept in small cages at the research lab for nearly 20 years. But despite this, they embrace their newfound freedom and are soon off exploring. And this is the final step in their rehabilitation.
Sometimes you forget what they've been through, and every now and again you'll see one that still does the stereotypic pacing or the biting or the head spinning, or if you do something a little odd, some of them will just suddenly start to spin, it just clicks. But then it goes away again, and then you'll see them out in the sun lying there with their friend grooming them. They've just taken everything in their stride. They've been amazing, and they sit in the sun and they eat the grass, they forage through the grass as if this is what they've done all their life. It's like, yeah, no, we know what to do. All their innate behaviours, all their natural behaviours are so strong still, and it's like, yeah, we can do that, we can do this, bring it on. So it's quite special.
For the care staff, it's a massive success. But now the monkeys are out, will they ever want to come in again? Later, the Capuchin girls know each other, but can the staff identify each of these 88 monkeys?
That's... oh, no, that's Kelly.
I haven't seen Letitia. Is she in this group, or did she go back to Debbie's group?
At Hananya's chimp troop, the newest residents, Ben and Pip, have finally plucked up the courage to venture outside too. They've had access to their enclosure all day, but it's only now that curiosity has got the better of them. They've decided to brave it and explore their new home. But they're sticking close together just in case. When Pip's nerves get the better of her, she clings onto anything she can for reassurance. Blankets, wood wool, more blankets, even her brother. But Ben is suddenly feeling brave. He wants to get out there and explore. So it's down to good old Arthur to offer Pip some reassurance. Ben, though, might be regretting his decision when Cookie doesn't exactly give him the warmest of welcomes and chases him across the enclosure. Straight into Pip's arms for a much-needed cuddle. That's definitely enough new experiences for one day. This pair is heading indoors for some rest and relaxation. In the female Capuchin enclosure, there are some interesting developments. With all this extra room they've now got outside and inside, something strange has happened. The Capuchins have divided themselves up according to their fur colour.
The most amazing thing was within 24 hours we had a natural split. You went in and in one playroom was all the dark ladies and in the other playroom was all the brown ladies. It was a bit of a balance. It was like 20 over here and 60 odd over here. But it was so strange, and if one of the brown ladies would try and cross over to the black playroom, they were all territorial and they'd push her out. And the black ladies would come out of their playroom and into the back bedrooms, and all the brown ones would run scared. Decided, OK, this is our natural split. We have and it's their split, which is the best thing. It's what they've decided, and it's quite special that they've actually done it on the species level. So the black species ones are in the right-hand playroom and all the brown ones are in the left-hand playroom.
The natural split has helped reduce the tension between the ladies, but the group's youngsters can't decide which group they'd rather be in.
But what we found is all the juveniles, all the 4 or 5-year-olds, they're quite tough and playful, and they've all gone on the dark side, and they're very, very happy over there. So over the last few days, we've been allowing individuals to kind of choose. Are you comfortable this way? Are you comfortable that way? And you do see very quickly if they're happy or not.
At Monkey World, the primate care staff know each individual ape and monkey. But getting to know each and every one of the 88 Capuchins was always going to be a challenge.
I get confused on the little ones the most.
Yeah, I still get confused. And the Lionel, Leonie, Pride. There's about 4 in this group and 4 or 5 in the other group, and they're so similar looking that you do have to double check.
In the lab, very few had names, but they were easily identified by a numbered tattoo on their stomach or inner thigh.
So this is 20 and 1, 2, 6.
But here at Monkey World, this method is causing problems.
They're fluffy. We keep looking to try and see the tattoos, but we can't see them very clearly on a lot of the girls, especially some of the older ladies who are very fluffy and big. But literally on day 1, I felt the need to give them names because I can't remember numbers. Numbers were just flying through my head. And also, it's more personal. You kind of need to give them names.
There's Kate, Becky and Tallulah that are similar, but Tallulah's the one with the short tail. And I think we just were desperate to call a female Capuchin Tallulah.
Some of the Capuchins had distinctive looks, so they could easily be named.
Lots of names at the start came very, very quickly, and some of them stuck, like Amy, who has huge, big black hair after Amy Winehouse. We had Jane, G.I. Jane, with a short crew cut. We had Sooty, who has black little nostrils as if she's been running around in the soot.
But for the other girls, they had to rely on other ways to distinguish them.
Like we had one individual called Philippa, who's got quite a narrow face with eyes quite close together.
The problem was there were 3 Capuchins who looked identical, so they were all accidentally given the same name of Philippa.
And it just took time and time until suddenly something clicks. And now we know that Philippa and the second Philippa is now Tia. Tia is slightly bigger, and she has a larger head at the top. It's actually their personality and their behaviours that used to help us distinguish, even though they looked exactly the same.
The 22 boys were named quickly, but the 68 females have taken a lot longer.
It's taken us literally 2 months So we give them names and have names that we can remember and we're happy to ID. And actually every time we go down to the house, we just test each other to make sure that who I think's Molly, so everyone else thinks Molly. But the boys was much, much easier, just because there was so few of them in comparison, and there isn't that many mirror images. Like in the girls, we've got 3 who look like Oyster, we've got 2 who look like Katie, we've got 3 Philippas, we've got 4 Pirates, who all look the same. It was much harder than we thought.
And even though everyone has had their new names for a while, there's still confusion about who is who.
That's... oh, no, that's Kelly. That's Pippa.
Next time on Monkey Life, there's a morning sing-off at the park. Golden-cheeked gibbon Zoe introduces a very rare new addition to her family.
You can just see Zoe sitting in there very quietly, a very small blonde lump clinging onto her belly. She's had a little baby, and we're just over the moon.
And Capuchin Phoebe needs surgery. There was tension amongst the females and a fight broke out.
It's just part of the process of them knowing how to interact with each other, establishing the hierarchy, and yeah, unfortunately, it happens.